Hi everyone, my name is Angel Huang and I'm a PhD student at Cornell University. In this short video, I would like to share with you a case study I did to look at existing AI creativity support tools in the current consumer market. I started off this project by reviewing the typical stages in humans' creative processes, as well as identifying key challenges that users would need to resolve when they apply AI tools in the creative domain. I then survey existing AI-empowered co-creative tools to answer two specific questions. The first is, how do AI co-creative tools support each stage in the creative process? And also, how do AI co-creative tools address common human-AI interaction challenges? Now, let's begin by taking a look at what are the common steps human creators tend to take when they produce creative work. So, people typically begin by defining their problem space, asking key questions relevant to their creative problem, and perhaps collecting information as sources of inspiration. Then they go through this critical stage of exploration and incubation. Once they have got a more concrete idea, it is time to execute it into content. And finally, they want to make sure their final work is presentable to their intended audience. Then, what are some of the common challenges people would need to solve when they apply AI tools to go through this creative process? First, the divergent challenge concerns whether a person can come up with as many and as wide a range of ideas as possible. They may then want to narrow down and focus on a few ideas that are more promising and perhaps more feasible. This is when they are solving the convergent challenge. And finally, it is important to keep in mind that when users apply these co-creative tools, they are constantly negotiating with the AI to make creative decisions, and they may as well apply these tools when they work with other human collaborators. In both situations, users have to make sure collaborative challenges are well addressed. With some knowledge of how users create and what types of challenges they face during creative work processes, I then moved on to survey existing AI co-creative tools. Through web scraping, I identified 42 unique tools and tried each of them out. I also recorded whether each tool supports the 4 stages of creative process and the 8 key functions of creativity support tools as suggested by previous HCI work. Broadly, these tools can be categorized into 4 types, including the editors that help users execute their ideas during content production, such as using computer vision technique to remove background in images. The transformer tools that help people transform the forms of their work, such as transforming a sketch into a digital form of a UI design. The blenders that help incorporate different types, forms, and patterns. And finally, the generators that produce generative products based on users' input data, keywords, or suggested aesthetics. Besides their functionality, these tools differ by whether they allow human intervention, whether they introduce surprises to work, and whether they prompt new ideas. So, examining these existing tools, I first ask whether they offer support to different stages in the creative process. And what I found is that most of the tools support just the later stages of the creative process, which doesn't really allow much creativity, as by the time a person is executing or finalizing their work, they already have their creative ideas in mind. Besides, I also noticed that these tools did not offer specific functions to address the 3 types of challenges during human-AI interaction. Moreover, the majority of these tools don't offer explanations for how they work and don't allow humans to step into the working process either. One current solution is to use this type of interactive panel to let users examine how their input influences the output. But still, For most of the tools, users can only wait and see what they get from the tools. To conclude, I found that current AI co-creative tools actually offer the most support when users have already formed their creative ideas, and they seldom directly address common human-AI interaction challenges in the creative domain. Therefore, future design of AI co-creative tools should consider how AI can evolve in the early stages of creativity, such as helping users to brainstorm creative questions and collect relevant resources, instead of just support users to execute their existing ideas. At the same time, I encourage both researchers and developers to consider how we can design AI-empowered tools without threatening users' creative territory. And that's a wrap of this case study. Thank you for watching through this video. To learn more about this project, come chat with me during the conference or reach out to me at any time. Thank you.